I raised my niece as my own for 8 years. Then her bio mom showed up, took her, and said I stole her childhood. I changed Maya's first diaper, sang her to sleep through ear infections, held her hand on the first day of kindergarten when she cried because her shoes felt wrong. For 8 years, I was mom. Not Aunt Jess. Not guardian. Mom. Her bio mother, Lena, walked out when Maya was 3 months old. Left a note on the fridge. I'm not cut out for this. You're better at it anyway. No calls. No birthday cards. Nothing. Until last Tuesday, she showed up at Maya's school pickup line in a white SUV I didn't recognize, wearing sunglasses and a smile like she'd just returned from a coffee run, not an 8-year disappearance. Hi, sweetie, she said to Maya, crouching down like they did this every day. Ready to go home? Maya froze. She was 7. She'd never met this woman. I stepped between them. Lena, what are you doing here? She stood, brushed her hair back. Taking my daughter home. CPS cleared me last month, full custody restored. My stomach dropped. You never filed anything. I have legal guardianship. I do now, she said calmly. Signed, sealed, and served. You'll get the papers tomorrow. Then she turned to Maya. Come on, baby. We've got your room all set up. Pink walls just like you wanted. Maya looked at me, eyes wide. But my room's here. Lena laughed softly. That was temporary, honey. This is forever. I reached for Maya's hand, but Lena gently pulled her away. She's confused, I said, voice shaking. She doesn't know you. She'll learn, Lena said, buckling Maya into the back seat. Kids are resilient. As the SUV pulled away, Maya pressed her face to the window, mouth forming one word. Mom? I didn't answer, couldn't, because in that moment I realized she wasn't asking who I was. She was asking if I'd still be there when she got back. I stood in the empty driveway long after the car disappeared, clutching the unicorn backpack Maya forgot. Inside her lunchbox, her favorite pencil, a drawing titled Me and Mom at the Park. I called my lawyer that night. He sighed. Jess, if she got court approval, there's little we can do. Biological rights usually win unless there's abuse. There wasn't abuse, I whispered. There was love. But love doesn't file paperwork. Love shows up early for school plays. Love remembers how someone takes their toast. Love stays. And Lena? She just came back when she was ready to perform it. The next morning, I found a box on my porch. Maya's things. Stuffed animals, clothes, even the nightlight shaped like a moon. On top, a note in neat cursive. Thank you for keeping her safe. But her real life starts now. Real life. As if the last 8 years were a dress rehearsal. I sat on the floor and cried. Not because I lost a legal battle, but because I lost the right to tuck her in, to kiss her scraped knees, to be the person she runs to when the world feels too big. And worst of all, I couldn't even explain why it hurt so much without sounding selfish. Because how do you tell a child that the woman who left her isn't the same one who came back? 2 days later, Maya called from Lena's house. Voice hushed like she was hiding. Can you come get me? She whispered. She doesn't know my favorite color, or that I hate peas, or that I still sleep with Mr. Whiskers. And then, so quiet I almost missed it. She asked who Mom was in my drawing. I drove to Lena's house that night with my hand shaking on the wheel. Not because I was angry, because I was terrified of scaring Maya, of making things worse, of showing up and being told I had no right to be there. The house was new, modern, white siding, a perfectly trimmed lawn. Nothing like our cozy bungalow with crayon marks on the doorframe and a porch swing that squeaked. I parked down the street and called Maya back. Are you alone? I asked. For now, she whispered. She's on a date. A date already? She says she deserves happiness. Maya's voice cracked. But Jess, she doesn't know I'm scared of the dark here. The closet light doesn't work, and she said I'm too old for night lights. My chest tightened. Do you want me to come get you? Silence. Then, can you just talk to me until I fall asleep, like you used to? So I did. I sat in my car, phone pressed to my ear, and hummed the off-key lullaby I'd made up when she was 2. I described the stars over our old backyard, told her about the neighbor's cat who still waits by our gate every evening looking for her. She fell asleep mid-sentence. I stayed on the line for an hour, listening to her breathe. The next morning, I called Lena. I need to see her, I said. Not as a legal guardian, just as me. She sighed like I was inconveniencing her. Jess, you have to let go. You're confusing her. I've been her mother for 8 years. That doesn't vanish because you decided to come back. It does in court, she said flatly. And it should in your head, too. We agreed to a supervised visit at a park. Neutral ground, 10 a.m. Saturday. No promises. Just 1 hour. When I got there, Maya ran to me before Lena could unbuckle her seatbelt. She threw her arms around my waist and buried her face in my jacket, the one she always said smelled like home and pancakes. Lena hovered nearby, arms crossed. Don't encourage clinginess, she said. We walked to the swings. Maya clung to my hand like I might disappear. You kept Mr. Whiskers under your pillow last night, didn't you? I asked softly. She nodded. She put him in a drawer. Said he's germy. I smoothed her hair. You can tell me anything, okay? Even if it's hard. She looked at Lena, then back at me. She asked why I call you Mom. What did you say? I said, because you are. Lena called from across the grass. Time's up, sweetie. Maya's grip tightened. Do I have to go? Yes, Lena said, walking over. And no more secret calls, okay? It's not fair to either of us. After they left, I sat on the empty swing, watching leaves swirl in the wind. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. She cried all night, said she wants to come home. What do I do? It was Lena. I stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to say, then bring her back. But I knew that wasn't what she was asking. She wasn't lost. She was testing me. So I typed back, ask her what she needs. Not what you think she should want. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Reappeared. Finally. I don't know how. And that broke me more than the custody papers ever did. Because it wasn't malice, it was ignorance. She hadn't stolen Maya out of cruelty. She'd taken her because she truly believed love was something you could restart like a video game. Picking up where you left off. No damage done. But kids aren't save files. They're living, breathing hearts that remember every time someone chose to stay or walk away. That night, I dug out Maya's baby book, the one I'd filled with first steps, first words, first laugh. On the last page, I'd written, "Today she said I love you without being prompted." My heart exploded. I closed it gently, wondering if Lena would ever understand that those moments weren't hers to reclaim. They were ours, and no court order could erase them. A week later, Lena showed up at my door, not with Maya, but with a stack of parenting books and red-rimmed eyes. "Teach me," she said, before she stops trying to reach me. But as I looked past her, I saw Maya in the car, staring straight ahead, clutching Mr. Whiskers like a lifeline. And I realized this wasn't about forgiveness. It was about survival. I didn't invite Lena in. I stood on the porch, arms crossed, rain starting to mist around us. "You can't just show up," I said. "I know," she said, voice raw, "but she hasn't smiled in 3 days. She eats like a bird. Last night she asked if you forgot her." My throat closed. "What did you say?" "I told her you'd never forget her." She looked down at the books in her hands. The whole brainchild, how to talk so kids will listen. "I thought if I read enough, I'd figure it out. But she doesn't want a textbook. She wants you." I glanced past her. Maya sat in the passenger seat, small in her booster, staring at her lap. Mr. Whiskers' ear was frayed from nervous twisting. "Why now?" I asked. "Because this morning she packed a backpack," Lena said quietly. "Said she was walking back to you. It's 10 miles, Jess. 10 miles. I stepped off the porch, walked to the car, tapped on the window. Maya looked up. Her eyes were dry but hollow, like she'd cried so much there was nothing left. I opened the door. "Hey, bug." She didn't speak, just held out Mr. Whiskers. His button eye was loose. "He missed you too." I sat beside her in the back seat. The leather was cold. Nothing like our old cloth seats that smelled like crayons and spilled juice. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "For what? You didn't leave." "No," I said. But I couldn't stay. Lena leaned into the car frame. "I don't know how to be what she needs. Every time I try, it's wrong. I bought pink walls, but she liked blue. I made pancakes, but not your way. I even tried singing that lullaby, but she covered her ears and said, 'That's Mom's song.'" Maya finally spoke. "You don't get to sing it. You weren't there." Lena flinched like she'd been slapped. I put my arm around Maya. "She's not trying to hurt you," I said gently. "She's scared you'll disappear again." Lena's eyes filled. "I won't." "Says who?" Maya whispered. "You left before." Silence stretched thick with everything unsaid. Then Lena did something unexpected. She got in the driver's seat, started the car, and turned to me. "Come with us. Just for dinner. Show me how you do it." I hesitated. "Lena, I can't teach you how to be her mom. That's not how this works. But you can teach me how to listen," she said. "Before it's too late." We drove to my house. Not hers. Mine. Because that's where Maya's real life still lived. In the scuff marks on the kitchen floor, the height chart on the pantry door, the blanket fort still half built in the living room. I made spaghetti, the kind with too much garlic, just how Maya liked it. Lena watched me chop onions, set the table, fill Maya's cup halfway because full cups tip. After dinner, Maya curled into the couch with a book. Lena sat across from her, awkward, unsure. "Ask her about school," I murmured. "She already told me." "Ask again." Different question. So Lena tried. "What was the best part of your day?" Maya shrugged. Nothing. Lena looked panicked. I stepped in. What was the hardest part? Maya glanced at me, then softly, remembering which house is mine. Lena's breath hitched. She didn't fix it. Didn't say this is your home now. She just nodded. Yeah, that sounds hard. And for the first time, Maya looked at her. Not with fear, but curiosity. Later, as Lena helped load the dishwasher, wrong rack, wrong soap, but trying, Maya tugged my sleeve. Can I sleep here tonight? Lena froze. I looked at her. It's your call. She swallowed. If she's happy, yeah. Maya ran to her room, came back with pajamas. As she brushed her teeth, Lena stood in the doorway, watching like she was memorizing the way Maya hummed off-key. When Maya climbed into bed, she patted the spot beside her. Stay till I fall asleep? Lena sat on the edge, stiff at first. Then slowly, she reached out and smoothed Maya's hair, just like I used to. I turned off the light and closed the door softly. In the hallway, Lena whispered, How long does it take? To earn her trust, I said. As long as it takes to prove you're staying. She nodded, tears slipping free. I am. I believed her. But belief isn't enough when a child's heart has already learned how to break. 2 nights later, Maya called me at 2 a.m. Not from Lena's house, but from a gas station payphone. She's gone again, she sobbed. Said she needs space. But I heard her tell her friend, turns out, I'm not cut out for this after all. And this time, I didn't just drive to pick her up. I called a lawyer and finally asked the question I'd been too afraid to voice. What if love isn't enough to keep her safe? The payphone was outside a 24-hour gas station on Highway 99. Maya stood under the flickering fluorescent light in her unicorn pajamas, barefoot, clutching Mr. Whiskers like he was the only thing keeping her from floating away. I pulled up, heart hammering. She ran to the car and threw herself into the passenger seat, shaking. She left a note, she said, voice thin. Said she needs to figure things out, but I heard her on the phone. She told Marissa she's drowning and never should have come back. I didn't say I told you so. Didn't say she's just like before. I just turned up the heat, wrapped a blanket around her, and drove. Back at my house, I made hot chocolate, extra marshmallows, stirred clockwise, just how she liked it. She sat at the kitchen table, staring into the cup like it held answers. Do you think she'll come back? She asked. I don't know, Bug. Do you think she loves me? I looked at her, really looked. At the dark circles under her eyes, the way she kept checking the driveway. I think she wants to, but wanting isn't the same as staying. She nodded slowly. You stayed. Because you're worth staying for. That night, after she fell asleep on the couch, too scared to go to her old room, I called Elena Ruiz, the family lawyer who'd helped me with guardianship 8 years ago. She abandoned her again, I said, voluntarily. No notice. Left her at home alone. Elena was quiet for a long moment. Jess, if you file for emergency custody now, you might actually win. Voluntary abandonment is serious. But what if she comes back tomorrow? What if this is just another panic spiral? Then you let the court decide, Elena said gently. But ask yourself, is it fair to keep making Maya choose between hope and safety? I hung up and sat on the floor beside the couch, watching Maya sleep. Her hand twitched like she was reaching for someone who wasn't there. The next morning, I found her packing her backpack again. Where are you going? I asked. Back to her house, she said. In case she comes home and I'm not there. My heart cracked open. Maya, you don't have to wait for someone who keeps leaving. But what if this time she stays? I knelt in front of her. You deserve a mom who doesn't make you wonder. She started to cry. Quiet, exhausted tears. I miss you so much it hurts. I'm right here, I whispered. And I'm not going anywhere. We went to Lena's house together. The front door was unlocked. Inside, half-packed suitcases sat by the door. A one-way bus ticket to Portland lay on the counter. Maya picked it up, stared at it, then dropped it like it burned her. That's when I knew. Hope had run out. I called Elena back. File for full custody, today. While we waited for the paperwork, Maya sat on the porch steps, drawing in her sketchbook. When I peeked over her shoulder, I saw a picture of 3 stick figures. One labeled me, one Jess, and one with a question mark and wings, fading into the sky. She's not coming back, Maya said without looking up. Not really. No, I said. But I am. 2 days later, Lena called. Her voice was small. I messed up. Yes, I said. You did. I thought love would be enough, that she'd forgive the past if I tried hard enough. Love isn't a magic fix, I said. It's showing up day after day, even when it's hard. Even when you're scared. You left when it got hard. Again. Silence. Then can I see her? Not until the court decides. And not until you prove you're ready. Not just willing, but capable. She didn't argue. Just whispered, tell her I'm sorry. I will, I said. But she already knows. Because kids don't need grand apologies. They need consistency, and Lena never gave her that. At the custody hearing, Lena showed up sober, composed, with letters from a therapist and a parenting class certificate. But when the judge asked Maya, who'd been given the rare chance to speak, what she wanted, she didn't say, "I want Jess." She looked at Lena and said, "I want to stop waiting." And in that moment, I realized justice wasn't about winning. It was about giving her peace. The courtroom smelled like lemon cleaner and nervous sweat. Maya wore her favorite dress, the blue one with stars, and held my hand so tight her knuckles turned white. She didn't look at Lena when she walked in, just stared at the floor like it might swallow her whole. Lena looked different. No makeup, hair pulled back. She carried a folder labeled Parenting Plan Revised. She'd lost weight. Her hands trembled when she sat down. The judge, a woman with kind eyes and silver hair, spoke gently. "This isn't about who loves Maya more. It's about who can provide stability, consistency, safety." Lena's lawyer presented her case. Therapy records, parenting class completion, a signed commitment to weekly counseling. "She's working on herself," he said. "She deserves a chance to rebuild." Then it was my turn. I didn't bring anger, didn't list every broken promise. I just told the truth. For 8 years, I was the one who knew Maya needed socks with no seams because they hurt her feet, who stayed up when thunderstorms scared her, who celebrated tiny victories, like the day she finally ate broccoli without gagging. Love isn't just feeling, it's showing up. And I've never missed a single day. The judge nodded. Then she did something rare. She turned to Maya. "Sweetheart, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But if you could tell me one thing, what would make you feel safest?" Maya looked at me, then at Lena, then down at her lap. "I want to stop waiting," she said softly. "Every time the doorbell rings, I think it's her leaving again. Every time she says, 'I love you,' I wonder how long it'll last. I'm tired of hoping." Lena covered her face with her hands. Her shoulders shook. The judge let the silence sit. Then she ruled, "Full legal and physical custody awarded to me. Supervised visitation for Lena, twice a month at a family resource center. Mandatory parenting therapy before any unsupervised contact." Afterward, Lena stood outside the courthouse, rain starting to fall. She didn't approach us, just watched from a distance as I buckled Maya into the car. But as I closed the door, Maya leaned out. "Mom?" Lena froze. "You can still come to my school play," Maya said quietly. "If you stay till the end?" Lena's breath caught. You'd let me?" "I don't know yet," Maya said honestly, "but I'll be on stage. And if you're there, I'll see you." We drove home in silence. Halfway there, Maya asked, "Does this mean I get to keep my room?" "Forever," I said. That night, she unpacked her backpack for the last time, put Mr. Whiskers on the pillow, hung her star dress in the closet. Then she came to my room and crawled into bed beside me, just like when she was little. "I'm not going anywhere," she whispered. "I know, Bug," I said, kissing her forehead, "and neither am I." Over the next weeks, life settled into a new rhythm. Maya started sleeping through the night, laughed during dinner, even drew a new picture. 2 figures holding hands under a big yellow sun. One labeled me, one Mom. Lena showed up for her first supervised visit, nervous, quiet, but present. She didn't try to hug Maya, just sat across the table and asked about school, listened, nodded, left without pushing. Afterward, Maya said she didn't cry. That's new. Progress wasn't grand gestures. It was showing up sober, staying past the hard part, letting Maya set the pace. But healing isn't linear. One evening, Maya found an old photo album, pictures of her as a baby, Lena holding her, both of them smiling like the world was soft. She sat on the floor for an hour, flipping pages. Finally, she looked up. "Do you think she loved me then?" "I think she wanted to," I said. "But wanting isn't enough." She closed the book. "I don't hate her. I know. I just wish she'd loved me enough to stay." And that right there, that was the wound no court order could heal. 3 months later, Lena missed her 3rd visit in a row. No call, no explanation. Maya didn't cry. She just took down the drawing of the 2 stick figures and taped up a new one. Just her and me, standing under a sky with no doors, only windows wide open. But that night, she asked the question I'd been dreading. If she never comes back, does that mean I wasn't worth staying for? Maya asked that question just before bedtime, curled under her quilt with Mr. Whiskers tucked under her chin. The room was quiet except for the hum of the old radiator, the one that clanked like a heartbeat when it kicked on. If she never comes back, does that mean I wasn't worth staying for? My chest tightened. This wasn't about Lena anymore. This was about Maya's worth and how deeply she'd internalized abandonment as rejection. I sat on the edge of her bed. "You are worth every second of someone's life," I said softly. "But some people don't know how to hold on to good things. It's not about you. It's about their own broken places. She turned her head toward the wall. Then why does it hurt so much? Because love leaves a mark even when it's messy, even when it fails. She was quiet for a long time. Then, do you think she'll ever understand what she lost? I don't know, I said. But I do know this. You're not alone. And you never were. The next morning, Maya didn't mention it again. She got dressed, ate breakfast, walked to the bus stop like nothing happened. But that afternoon, her teacher called. She drew a picture in art class, she said gently. It's intense. I went to pick her up early. In the classroom, taped to the bulletin board, was a large sheet of paper. At the center, a small girl standing in an empty house. Windows open, doors wide. Outside, a shadowy figure walking away down a long road. Above the girl, in careful cursive, I am here. Always. The teacher handed me a note Maya had slipped her. Tell Jess it's okay if she doesn't come back. I have enough love now. That broke me more than any custody battle ever could. Because it wasn't resignation. It was release. That weekend, we cleaned out the guest room, the one Lena had slept in during her brief return. Maya helped fold the sheets, stack the books, pack the extra toothbrushes. Should we keep it? I asked. In case? She shook her head. Let's make it my art studio. So we did. Painted the walls pale yellow, hung string lights, set up a big table for drawing. On the first day, she sketched a series called Homes I've Known. Our old apartment, the porch swing, the courthouse steps, this room, all of them filled with light. Lena missed 2 more visits. No calls. No letters. Just silence. And Maya? She stopped checking the mailbox. Stopped listening for car doors at night. Started sleeping with her bedroom door open. So the air can move, she said. One evening, as we washed dishes side by side, she asked, do you ever wonder what would have happened if she'd stayed? Sometimes, I admitted. But then I look at you and I'm glad it was me. She smiled, a real one, slow and warm. Me too. We didn't talk about Lena after that, not because we forgot her, but because she no longer lived in the center of our story. She was a chapter, a hard one, but not the whole book. Still, I kept the folder from the lawyer, the custody decree, the visitation logs. Not out of fear, but as proof. Proof that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every single day. And I chose Maya, again and again and again. 6 months later, a letter arrived with no return address, just Lena's handwriting on the envelope. Inside, a single sentence on a torn piece of notebook paper. I see now that I love the idea of her, not the real girl. And below it, a bus ticket stub dated yesterday, from Portland. But when I looked up, Maya was already at the window staring down the street, not with hope, not with fear, but with quiet certainty. She's not coming back, she said. And that's okay. The letter sat on the kitchen table for 3 days. Maya didn't touch it, didn't ask what it said. She just kept drawing, big, bold sketches of trees with deep roots, oceans with calm surfaces, houses with open doors and no locks. On the 4th morning, she finally picked it up, read it once, folded it neatly, then tucked it into her art journal under a page titled, Things That Don't Belong to Me. She's not coming back, she said, not looking up. And that's okay. I didn't argue. Didn't say maybe she will, because Maya wasn't guessing. She was stating a fact like the sky is blue or rain is wet. Some truths don't need proof. They just settle in your bones. That afternoon, we went to the park, the same one where our first supervised visit happened. Maya ran ahead, barefoot on the grass, laughing as she chased pigeons. At 8 years old, she'd already learned how to carry grief without letting it crush her. That's not resilience. That's survival. We sat on the swings. She pumped her legs, soaring higher, hair flying behind her. Remember when I used to be scared to go fast? She called over the wind. Yeah, I said. You'd hold my hand so tight. I don't need to anymore, she said, not boastfully, just peacefully, because I know you're watching. And that was it. No grand reunion. No tearful apology from Lena. No courtroom reversal. Just this. A child who finally believed she was safe enough to fly. Weeks passed. Seasons turned. Maya started 3rd grade. Joined the school choir. Made a best friend who slept over every other weekend. Her drawings filled 3 more journals. None of them included shadowy figures walking away. Lena never came back, never called. The bus ticket stub remained unexplained, a ghost of a maybe that never landed. And slowly even that faded. She held up a onesie with a faded sunflower. Did she buy this? I did, I said. The day you smiled for the first time. She smiled now, soft, sure. Good. We kept the box, put it on her shelf next to her art awards and Mr. Whiskers. Not as a shrine to what was lost, but as proof of what was built. Love doesn't always come from blood. Sometimes it comes from showing up when no one else will. From choosing someone every single day, even when they're hard to love, even when they're scared to trust you, even when the world says you don't count because you weren't there at the beginning. But beginnings aren't what make a mother. Showing up is. Maya knows that now, and so do I. Last night, as I tucked her in, she grabbed my wrist, the way she used to when she was small. "Will you stay till I fall asleep?" "Always," I said. She closed her eyes. And within minutes, she was gone, breathing slow, safe, whole. I sat in the dark, listening to the rain tap the roof, and thought about all the women like me. Aunts, sisters, friends, neighbors, who step into the broken places and say, "I'll hold this for you." We don't get certificates. We don't get legal titles. But we get something quieter, deeper. The moment a child stops waiting for someone who left and starts believing the person who stayed is enough. That's not just love. That's home. Hello, buddies. In my opinion, after telling this story, I keep thinking about how society glorifies biological ties while quietly erasing the women who actually show up. Real motherhood isn't DNA. It's consistency. It's choosing someone again and again, even when it costs you everything. And if you've ever loved a child who wasn't yours by law or blood, know this: your love counts. It always has, and it always will.